All right, good morning. My name is Blake Sandus with RMS Roller-Grinder. I'm the Vice President of Sales here at RMS, and this is my colleague Riley.
My name is Riley Odland. I'm a sales and applications engineer for RMS Roller-Grinder, specifically in our brewing and distilling side.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about the differences between a single pair versus double pair, specifically for the brewing applications. So Riley, can you explain to the audience what is really the difference between like a single pair versus double pair roller mill?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest difference between a single pair or a two roller, a lot of people call it, or a double pair roller mill or four roller, it's really very simple. So with a single pair, we just have a single pair, a single set of two rolls that we're using to crush our grain. With a double pair, we're doing, really the same thing, but with four rolls. So we have two sets of rolls with two stacks on the other two.
Okay, appreciate that. So why would a brewer consider going with a double pair roller mill versus a single pair roller mill?
So a lot of times when people are looking at going with a double pair or four roller, they're really wanting to focus on their efficiency gains, and it kind of comes down to the total cost of ownership. So when I'm kind of referring to efficiency gains, I'm talking about the consistency of the crush that we're able to get out of the bottom of the mill versus what we're able to get out of the single pair. So with that double pair, those four rolls, we're able to split the work up between the two sets of rolls. So with that top set, we're doing an initial crush where we're separating the husk from the endosperm of that malted barley. And then on the second set, we're getting that finer, more consistent final grist. So with that consistent crushed grist, we're able to kind of increase the surface area of all those good insides that we're trying to access. And, since we're not milling fine to the point where we're kind of damaging that husk, we're able to maintain that filter bed in that lauter ton. So we're able to, pull more of those starches off by having that consistent crush without increasing our lauter time. A lot of time we run into situations where, guys are using maybe a single pair to mill too fine. They're trying to increase their efficiencies, and then they run into stuck mash or increased lauter time. So a double pair is really designed to kind of help give you that more consistent crush so that you can increase your efficiencies and then also improve your lauter times.
Awesome. Thanks for the breakdown. So if a brewer is considering if they should go with either a single pair or a double pair roller mill, what are some of the points of consideration that they should kind of look at?
So a lot of times when I'm talking with brewers, it really comes down to, the size of their system, how many barrels that they're looking to produce in a year, and, really what their efficiency gain would be on that system. So, a lot of times kind of the starting point where we see it makes sense for a brewery is if they're in like that 15 to 20 barrel system size. And then, when it gets up to like a 30 barrel, I almost, I highly recommend, if you're in a 30 barrel system, you're putting out a lot of beer throughout the year. So those returns on those efficiency gains, they add up very quickly on those larger systems.
Okay. And just so everyone's clear, and when you're talking about efficiency gains, you're particularly talking about how much grain is it going to take to brew that beer, and then how much that will save them over the course of a year, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So when brewers are getting their malt COAs from their malt providers, they know that, or putting it into a software like Beersmith or Brewer's Friend, they know that they have a certain number of sugars that they should get out of a certain amount of grain. And then really their efficiency is how much of that grain or how much of that sugar that they're getting access to. So with the double pair versus the single pair, we're able to get closer to what that maximum amount of sugar is.
Awesome. And on average, what have you normally seen for types of efficiency gains as in regards to like a percentage? kind of case studies have you seen?
A lot of the brewers that I've worked with where we replace one of our single pairs with a double pair is a lot of time it's in that 4 to 6% range that we see for a gain from a 2 to a 4.
Wow, that's pretty substantial increase. All right,
Yeah, it can
last
be significant.
question. If a brewer wanted to learn more and figure out if it made more sense to go with a single pair or a double pair, how could you help them with that? What kind of information would you need, and then how would you help them through that process?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually have a really handy tool that we put together. It's a pretty simple Excel calculator, but it's essentially an ROI calculator. So brewers can enter in, the size of their system, how many barrels they go through in a year, and kind of what their expected efficiency gain would be, and it'll spit out, how long that ROI will actually be for them to actually pay back on, whatever that capital investment is.
Awesome. Thanks, Riley.
Thanks, Blake.